Hey, folks. So, as if history wasn't confusing enough, um, we have yet another war that its title is the amount of time that it happened. So we have the 30 Years' War. We have the 7 Years' War. We also have the 9 Years' War. And this is, I find this hard to remember. I find it confusing, and it just makes me confused. So, 30 Years' War, of course, is this great power conflict that happens in the 1600s or the 17th century. And at the end of it, at the tail end, we have two things that happen kind of concurrently. We have the Glorious Revolution, which was basically Holland or England basically manages to depose James 5/7 with the help of its allies in Holland, and they instate William III of Orange. Right after that happens, basically Holland and England together have a war with France. I'm already confused who was helping, who was on the sides. Let's see. So France is by itself, monolithic. And we have all of these on the alliance, the Grand Alliance, Dutch Republic, England, Scotland, Holy Roman Empire, which is interesting. It's Germany, and also Spain. Everyone against France. France, I guess, is mucho powerful. And then, of course, we start entering the 1700s. Not going to lie, probably my favorite century of human history. Just everything is happening. Mozart, Voltaire, Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Haven't made videos about these people yet, but I don't know. I should at some point. Age of Enlightenment. And I think our 7 Years' War, not to be confused with the 9 Years' War, not to be confused with the 30 Years' War, happens in this century. The century of the Enlightenment, the century that would go on to have the French Revolution, Napoleonic Wars, American Revolution, huge Enlightenment thinkers, like I said before, Voltaire and Jean-Jacques Rousseau. I think John Locke is from this era. The Baroque period of art and music. We have pirates are going crazy in the Caribbean and abroad. Okay, also in the Indian Ocean, and all kinds of places. And of course, Mozart, the age of Mozart, the composer. So this war, no, this is about this. We're doing the 7 Years' War. We're doing the 7 Years' War. 7 Years' War. This is the one. So this is a great power conflict. By the way, I'm going to use the journalistic, the 5 W's: who, what, why. Who, what, why, when, and where. The order doesn't matter, just the fact that we should try to answer those 5. So, this is in 1756 to 1763. Okay, basically in the middle of the 18th century, more or less. What's happening here? It's a great power conflict, and it's fought primarily in Europe with significant subsidiary campaigns in North America. Interesting. And South Asia. So that's basically India. Who's fighting? So Great Britain is fighting, and Prussia. Prussia is one of those countries that doesn't exist anymore. Country isn't the right word. It's a kingdom. It's an absolute kingdom. It's part of Germany. Oh, they're calling it a state here. But it's also called the kingdom, yeah. Great Britain, of course, massive holdings all over the world, including South Asia, North America, you name it, they own it. So it's a warring states where Great Britain and Prussia, and they're fighting against France and Austria. Oh, I'm not surprised about the enmity between Great Britain and France, but it is interesting that Austria, Habsburg monarchy, has flipped. It has flipped. They're like flip-flopping. Because, as we noticed before, in the 9 Years' War, there we go, Holy Roman Empire, a.k.a. Habsburgs. Those are the Habsburgs, aren't they? They're not. They are? No, so they're not necessarily. So Holy Roman Empire is not at all, like, it doesn't have to be Habsburg. It can be its own thing. That's good, important to point out. So, I don't know why I can't go back. There it is, 7 Years' War. So let's have a look here. Belligerents: Great Britain, Prussia, Portugal, Russia, and they're fighting France. Yeah, they did flip. They totally flipped, right? Fighting France, and then helping France. Huh. Why? Why are they so seedy? Or not seedy, that's not the right word. Why do they flip-flop like this? The warring states, so we know who. We know that there's a lot of assistance from other kingdoms. But why? Now we're trying to understand why. These are related conflicts. I don't want to get into them because this video will never end. But let's understand why. So, although the War of the Austrian Succession ended, so there's a war about who will succeed in Austria. What a picture. Look at those ships. France, and that's England. So, because although the War of Austrian Succession ended with this treaty, none of the signatories were happy with the terms, and it was generally viewed as a temporary armistice. It led to strategic realignment known as the Diplomatic Revolution that ended the long-running rivalry between Austria and France. Got it. And that's exactly why they hopped on their team. Austria being, of course, they're calling it Austria, but it's not written as Austria. It's written as Habsburg, as Holy Roman Empire. Oh, by the way, I am curious if, let's see, the commanders. I'm curious about the Russian commanders. Oh, Russia's on both sides of the conflict. What is going on? This can't be more confusing, folks. Who is Tsar of Russia? I am so confused. I'm sorry. This is one of those mornings. But anyways, we still don't get why. It led to strategic realignment known as this. Okay, so ended the long-running rivalry. The two declared war on Britain. There's enmity, like a crazy enmity with France and England, and it seems like they tried. There was some sort of treaty that ends the moment after. So it seems like the moment that Austria aligns with France, they're like, okay, we're powerful enough. Let's really war with Britain. And then they get Russia on board in 1957 with this Treaty of Versailles. Okay, so this is important. So the two declared war. There's the Treaty of Versailles 1956, which is exactly the where it starts. Starts this war between Austria, basically the Habsburgs against Britain, while Prussia Also German, but not Austrian, helping Great Britain. Okay. Spain became a French ally in 62. Wow, so Spain also flopped. Because Spain... Sorry. In the 9 Years' War... Wow, it's amazing how things have changed since the 9 Years' War. So, in the 9 Years' War, Austria and Spain were aligned with England. And look at this. 7 Years' War, Austria and Spain aligned with France. So tables have really turned. Okay, so we know who, we know when. So Spain becomes an ally in 62, after unsuccessfully invading Portugal as well as losing Havana and Manila to Britain. So it seems like they lose some holdings to Britain, and that causes enmity. France loses its possessions in North America, while Britain established its commercial dominance in India. Okay. So let's just try if we can see here. So territorial changes. France cedes North American possessions east of the Mississippi River, along with the colonies of Canada, St. Vincent, Tobago, Dominica, Grenada, Northern Sircars to Britain. Okay. France cedes Louisiana and its North American territory west of the Mississippi River to Spain. And Spain cedes Florida to Britain. So I wonder, I'm also curious if Louisiana has like the French Quarter, and parts of Quebec in Canada French is spoken. Is this the moment? Like, is this the last moment where like France was the holder of those territories? Let me know in the comments, because I don't have time in this video at least to go through it all. And I didn't answer my questions that I set out to answer. The whys, the who's is kind of clear. The when is clear, but not everything else. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Gonna be real. Anyways, thanks for joining. Subscribe if you haven't. Bye. Wiki with me is signing out.